Listen, I never shill it, but it popped over on the side here that says that there's 3x more people that are likely to join it. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, we do have a membership. It's like $2.99 a month. If you want to support the stream, if you're not doing Twitch Prime where that's free, if you have Amazon Prime, we'd love for you guys to check that out. Again, it's on the YouTube channel. Just go to it. You'll see the join button if you're interested. If not, hell yeah, that's cool. Let's dive into stream number 2 of the day. Oh, buddy. Okay. I feel like we're almost back to the days that were. And I mean, we used to stream for like 6 to 7 hours at a time. Now, there's not something that I feel overtly passionate enough that like would make sense, except for kind of these, you know, programmed, scheduled sort of interactions. And the background here, listen, Lemon posted about some cookies here, and I'm a fan. Okay, listen, always good for a good time, and cookies are always a good time. So I wanted to, you know, share that love and joy with it with you. But again, we're probably going to do more streams as things are getting more interesting, covering the news and trying to just be a fun source for you to catch up on the day's Web3 news. A Raving Ape asks, need someone who is deep into Moonbirds but can give me a totally unbiased take on why Moonbirds are currently 4 ETH and why they would deserve to run to 10 ETH. And then, you know, all right, what do we think is the things here? Because Burbs, okay, because team member 1 and team member 2 are geniuses, and also we call them Burbs, which is really funny. Okay, I think that's sort of a troll comment, but still, I laughed out loud. Seems like not knowing much yet is part of the value being early, with lots still to come. Hype and speculation mirroring Pengu. We have the perception again. Spencer took over Moonbirds. Early signs of success, very similar to what happened with Pudgy Penguins and Luca. Guys, which one between Artifact and Oniforce will go massive for a run? Yeah, everybody. See, is this engagement farming, or are people like actually wanting to throw money at something? So Clone X, it's got Takashi Murakami associated in some traits for it. 0.228, right? That's cool. And then Oniforce, 0.2388. Now let's kind of argue for a second and say, okay, well, it's a collection out of 7,777. It was made in August 21 for Oniforce. Going over to Clone X, that's kind of hovered off, but you can see that it's 19,764. So if we argue and you're somebody new that's into the space, well, okay, it's the same price. One of them basically has more than half the supply of the other one. Well, maybe we go with the other one. And then you have all of these deciding things. You're just like, I don't know what to do with it. And that's where we have this upcoming week's guest, Grail Capital. Can you imagine having a fund that invests in NFTs and buys them in bulk and trying to figure out how the hell the markets are going to work? Investing the next 100 billion asset class digital culture on blockchains. Talking with Jean-Michel tomorrow. The episode drops. Give you all the goods and more in a little bit. But again, that's in the link in the description below or down in the bio on X if you happen to be following on there. Gmoney. Really curious what the NFT King thinks of the markets right now. So Variety, the magazine. Rolling Stone also did pieces as well, highlighting, and Forbes, I think, also does like a 30 for 30 thing for blockchain, crypto, etc. Music Mogul of the Year, the NFT King. Madonna and U2 manager Guy was serious, leveraging his success to become the next great tech whisperer. I ain't seen that guy ever. Since that originally launched, there was an appearance at ApeFest from Guy Osiri, but I have not seen anything. But he was one of the biggest names initially, kind of jumping over to the Web3 space. So we talk about all of these communities and these things, and there's going to be somebody that joins and be like, well, this is stupid, this is whatever. But you got to kind of talk to people that are open-minded. And when you realize, hey, there's a whole cluster of NFT or, you know, communities online for, we could just call it that have skill sets that could help me in certain things. You might say, hey, I need to figure out trading. Well, maybe you've heard of certain crypto-based collectibles that are out there. Join the Discord, try to reach out to people, trying to think of it from like an innocence point of view, right? And then if you're somebody who's techie, check this out. You come across this on the timeline. So LucaNets just put out a bounty for 1 ETH for whoever can build the best Pudgy wallpaper generator with a QR code embeddings. Within an hour of the bounty call, 3 separate prototypes were published in the bearish as F Discord. So that's cool that Luke is like, yo, we got any community people out there? People love the brand. How do we create a QR code? Great. Well, there's one community out there that's got some big brains that are like, yo, we exactly know how to do that. Boom, cranks it out. And there's going to be people that see that and like, I want to be a part of it. Similar to early days when we've talked about CyberKongz in the earlier show today about Banana, people know, okay, a lot of the Kongs was based off of getting into crypto gaming, DeFi, being a part of this, being active, and being engaged. NFTs are still small enough that we need to be thinking larger and collectively if we're ever going to grow this pie. Agree, but again, everybody's just focused on whatever the hell they like. Instead of only participating in your own community, explore other top communities. They all have cool stuff going on. So let's kind of react to a few of the things that he mentioned. So stream on Abstract. So I streamed on Abstract, I think, for the entirety of the beginning of this year. And then I noticed with my going live software, it's called Streamlabs, I was running into issues where suddenly the YouTube stream wasn't working, but Twitch and X and Abstract would go, and it's all these kind of things. And so I reset it, and it just didn't tick off the Abstract, and I need to put it back in there. And it doesn't take that much effort, but it is sort of weird because it does feel like, okay, if you're not having the VODs available to it, if Abstract's not really pushing out these streams, it feels like sort of odd to be on there. And again, I got up to I think 86 followers, which is pretty solid on that platform. And I'll absolutely stream there again. But I think having the VODs or some kind of way where there's actually discovery, except when you go to the page and then it's somebody that's sitting at a desk not doing anything, and it's the same people every day. And it's like, well, why the hell is that there? I kind of miss when they used to do the 24-hour radio stations. But Abstract streaming, absolutely something that anybody can do and check out. Right? I mean, I streamed on there, and you can too. I mean, you have to apply for it, but then I think it takes a little bit. So the second one, hop in Otherside. So the Yuga Labs collection or experience. Yep, that's now available. You can sign up for anime, coin chain, not sure. But I've watched the first Suzuki video on YouTube, so does that count? Maybe. Or watch Doodles TV, which I think you need to buy one of the passes on Coinbase. Or base to be able to watch that. So kind of works, but also kind of not at the same time. Canary Capital. I'm pretty sure these are the guys behind the Pudgy ETF. What do they got to say?
That is very important, and these inflows are creating higher price in Bitcoin. We're also seeing treasury companies come into play. Now, I think that those will probably peak out here in the next couple of months, but the treasury companies are buying a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of other assets, and that's really what's driving price. As far as where price will go, I think there's greater than 50% chance that Bitcoin goes to 140 to 150 range this year before we see another bear market next year.
No, we're already calling for a bear market. Yo, what a bear. Unbelievable. But interesting take on this perspective and highlighting again, if you've been wondering what's driving the price, well, he says it's institutions. Which meme coin do you think has an unfairly low market cap relative to how good of a meme it is? Guys, get with the times. We have these as whether it's engagement farming, whether it's actual questions on the timeline, realize that people are actually having value in something that is a meme coin. And we're completely, I still feel like it's wild to me that the people that are ignoring what's going on here. Because everybody's online. Here's an experience. And I don't necessarily blame anybody, but to a point, Lionel Messi, when he joined Inter Miami, every single person is locked online, locked on their phone, except for David Beckham enjoying the moment. And this other coach. The people are going to be online so much moving forward. It's so exciting. Listen, all this stuff, it's great. I hope you're in a good mood. I feel absolutely phenomenal. But Bitcoin, what if? Here's your holy crap moment of the day. So it's a chart that goes up to where Bitcoin is 120-ish K, but then it just drops 30% down to 85,000. Can you smell the markets? Can you smell the timeline? I can almost, in theory, smell it. In theory is not the right word. Metaphorically, feel it? Nah, it doesn't work. A 50 gigabyte file was downloaded in under 2 seconds on a 6G network. What in the hell? That's insane. I'm thinking of doing a 50 gigabyte anywhere. It's usually an hour plus. Meebits doing an upcycling program. This is sort of neat with the treasury. So every day until September 7th, Meebits Co. will trade up to 1 Meebit from our vault for floor Meebits of comparable value, giving holders a chance to upcycle their collection. They will trade 1 Meebit for floor Meebits of a comparable value. How is it a comparable value if it's like a rare trade? Or are we just saying that if somebody wants to trade a forward-facing cap for a backwards one, I'm curious what that like actually looks like in action. And then Doodles. Earlier, we talked about how altcoins are all doing these things, huh? Banana coming out with a whole new tokenomics distribution. Doodles are like, nah, our token before was too bland. We need to upcycle it where it's the rainbow-puke now. Listen, all these altcoins, we're seeing things happening. It's hilarious. So Raoul Pal, again on the stream a little bit earlier, we highlighted this Van Arman piece and begged the question of, okay, I shilled something, Raoul shilled something. How do you decide, right? And for the Grail Capital conversation, the people that are championing things right now realize that's going to play a huge effect. And you could sit there and be like, okay, I'm talking to the wind, being bullish or excited about this particular thing. But then what if that particular thing actually happens or takes off? The thought of hope is here, and it is absolutely electric. Holy smokes. But the reason that I'm bringing this back up, because I sort of made fun of it of a way of like, okay, well, Raul's just bringing up all these different art things and talking about art, putting huge focus on that. And then I saw this from Aaron. Blaisdell. It says, just arrived home from Tokyo and look what was waiting for me on my doorstep. And it's one of those Van Arman pieces, but it's a physical. And I'm curious if you feel a little bit different before of, okay, I just seen it as a digital image before. Okay, seeing it in person and a little bit more high fidelity. Okay, the art, the style, the piece of it is kind of cool. And then noticing that even the physicals have a serial number, this one being 109 out of 200. And this was something that like the Bored Ape Yacht Club did for their Ape Fest. They did different days. Each of them were serialed. We've seen a lot of other like physical type RWA collectibles go that route. The new gacha machine that's getting a bunch of attention over on ApeChain. Rise and shine, apes. You thought Spotlight was over when leaderboard closed, but the Wheel of Fate has just begun. So you get 500 free multi-balls to mint every day. And then if you mint them, once you mint every 10, you could win a Bored Ape. So if we have sort of like these, can we even call it like a gacha machine? Now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't know if it technically falls under, but it's like a prize wheel. And if people can get an entry sort of cheap, I think that's what's going to happen. And somebody already won. They turned $600 worth of mints into a Bored Ape, which is like 48,000 or something right now. Unreal. Back to the point about the meme coins, get with the times. Things are happening here like crazy. Now, one thing to mention as well, I thought I had the post saved. I don't. But there was people that were saying there was some issue with MetaMask and it was resetting, it was locking, or they had to redo the seed phrase and whatnot from doing that ApeChain game. I saw that earlier from somebody called like Frosty. So I just want to point that out. Obviously, it's probably going to get fixed, but early situation with that. Justin Trimble, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, where everybody gets to like vote on stuff that the collective body does or buys, have massively untapped potential. And once you plug in autonomous AI agents, the ceiling disappears. So back to the narrative, the consensus, what's going to be hot. When institutions enter NFTs, and won't be surprised if the biggest players are AI-run DAOs that eliminate the need for trust altogether. There's your dystopian take of the day, but also think of who's saying what and how loud that voice is. Why do most crypto gaming projects fail? Well, I talked with the founder of Portals, and here's what he had to say.
What happens still in crypto, unfortunately, is a lot of incentives that don't make sense. So even a lot of the funding that goes into funding crypto projects is with the wrong incentive system set up. You will have, and I think the industry, especially in the games world, which is new, a lot of video game companies tried experimenting with crypto and, hey, somebody wants to give us funding to make a crypto game, let's try that out. But that has kind of gone pretty wrong. There's been a very low hit rate in terms of companies that were kind of in the crypto space receiving funding.
So again, talks about VCs just wanting to get into the space, see what they're able to, come up with. Crypto gaming's hot. Okay, anybody can make a crypto game. Anybody. Okay, you can. All right, here you go. Was that the best choice? Not necessarily, but we get to see what has lived on and potentially heading to Valhalla. If you want to listen to that again, if you follow me on X, you'll be able to find that tweet, or if you check out the link in the description below, that's going to be it for round 2 of this X feed for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, on YouTube, we do have the membership option. I'm trying to keep it like super cheap where it's just fun, but I'm going to be trying to do a hell of a lot more streams. We got a bunch of shorts up if you wanted to go check that out. And then, of course, on Twitch, if you do want to subscribe, if you have a Amazon Prime, it is free. Appreciate you guys. Soulflake, thanks for coming through again. Roar, holy smokes. Now you're popping by. Now add name here. Yo, all you guys are hanging out in the back scene. Love to see you. Thanks for coming through. We'll talk soon. Peace.